Roberto here for another video review. It's a very special one. It's the KitKat Chunky with Lotus Biscoff. Yes, this one has been available on import, I think, for some time, but this is an official UK release, this one. Yeah, so very excited for this one. Biscoff have basically, just for the longest of times, were just basically a biscuit you got inside, a hotel if you were lucky. But past couple of years, they've just branched off into ice creams, Biscoff spreads. That's a variety of ice creams actually, but Biscoff spreads, crunchy and smooth. What else have they done? They've done loads of different biscuits as well, just rather than the regular ones. They've done cream ones and they've done chocolate covered ones and all sorts really. It's been crackers and then and into forays of things like this as well. This KitKat Chunky with Biscoff. So it's very interesting. So Biscoff is kind of that speculoos biscuit basically, so a bit of a cinnamony flavoured biscuit. So yeah, and KitKat Chunky, very much a fan of those, so I'm very excited for this really. I think this will be a very nice one indeed. And there's the actual description there as well. So a crisp wafer finger with a Biscoff topping, 20%, covered in milk chocolate, 59%. So that's 79%, so there's a 21% missing there, so perhaps it's just wafer. So ingredients, vegetable fats, it's got palm fat in there, you can see. Okay, anything else of interest? Nothing that's standing out, but you can see all the ingredients there as well. Peanuts and tree nuts could be in it. Okay, Rainforest Alliance, certified cocoa. Right, recycle with bags at large supermarkets. So again, it's got this recycling at these large supermarkets. Don't get it really, but there we go. Seems to be a thing, doesn't it? You can't do it at home. It's got the KitKat guy. There's something in the bin there, or a K anyway. Quite interesting there, but obviously you can't recycle this, typically. It's weird, isn't it, how it says to throw it in the bin there, but then recycle there. So very confusing information there, I would say, but as far as label's concerned. Alright, so what's the actual calories and stuff? Is this upside down? It might be. No, it's not. 100 grams, 528 calories. So pretty much just over the centre of the 500 to 550 that chocolate products tend to have. 29.1 grams of fat, 13.9 of which are saturates, and it's a 42 gram bar. And per bar, 221 calories. 12.2 grams of fat, 5.8 of which are saturates. Hashtag my break. Cocoa plan. Working with the Rainforest Alliance to support cocoa farmers and their communities. Got the Rainforest Alliance in there. So Nestle Cocoa Plan. I mentioned this a few times in the past and not done recently, but basically about 20 years ago when I was at university, giving away my age a bit, basically Nestle came under fire and they were boycotted by a lot of students because they didn't support fair trade. So, this is not, I don't know if it's directly supporting fair trade, but it's something along those lines, isn't it? Working with Rainforest Alliance. Maybe it is fair trade, I can't quite recall now, as far as Rainforest Alliance is concerned. And I think that's the super vegetarians there. I think it does. Yes, it does. Okay, well, I think we need to give this a bit of an open then, really. But yeah, as I see, there's a bit of flourish going on there. So I'll probably lose a couple of, probably 4 centimetres there, I think. But I've seen worse, but yeah, we'll measure that in a bit. All right, well, let's give it an open. See what it looks like. Let's do it. Let's give it an open. Okay then, everyone, going to give this Nestle KitKat Chunky with Lotus Biscoff an open. Yeah, that's very interesting, doesn't it? Lotus Biscoff, the speculoos biscuit. All right, so let's do it. So time recording, I've done about 960 reviews, believe it or not. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. In the top right corner, I've got links to place of all my other reviews, as well as some related ones, such as KitKat Chunky ones, Lotus Biscoff ones. Yeah, and other things that I might think are of interest. So check those out after you've liked and subscribed. Hopefully enjoy those too. Alright, so there you go, you can see here. A bit worried straight away, I don't know if you can quite make this out, but there's a bit of a dint in the top there. I'm worried it's going to be very soft on the top, and I've had that with a couple of KitKat products, KitKat Chunky products lately. I think the caramel one was similar. It's just a bit soft on the top, and you can see it's indented a bit there. It could just be an impact from anything, but I don't know, I'm a bit worried. A nice look to it. I think it's in the Biscoff style logo maybe, and that sort of, I think it's in the KitKat style logo, isn't it really? But it's got a sort of circle of Lotus Biscoff there, so maybe it's just a coincidence. Yeah, I guess the KitKat there, circle, so yeah, just me imagining things. Alright, so let's have a look then. So we've got the length of the wrapper here. You'll see it is flattened out now, so it might make a slight difference that, but I'm not sure that it does. If I hold it up, you can see that the edges still stay the same distance away when I fold it up. Maybe for a couple of millimetres difference, but I don't think it does. But you can see here, there's this space here, an extra segment that basically, isn't it, when you think about it? An extra segment, Alright, so let's have a see. So it's basically roughly 15.6 centimetres, give or take a millimetre. 15.6, and the actual thing now it's clearly wider at the bottom as well. You see they have this step and all sorts with the KitKat Chunky. A bit cheeky, really. Check it was on 0 actually. 0. Okay, 11.5. So it's 15.5 give or take. So we lost 4 centimeters there, haven't we? Really, 4 centimeters. So you think about that, it's roughly 4h12, roughly a third of the barbs, which is what we said. One whole segment, isn't it? You know, basically. All right, so the height 1.6. The width at the bottom 2.9. Width at the top roughly, a bit roughly because it's to get it right at the top 2.2. It's about 7 millimeters there. And the length, the top was 11. It was 11.5, wasn't it? That's roughly 10.77. Probably a bit less than that, really. Actually, if I did it right at the top, it's very hard to do. 10.65, yeah. About 9 millimeters less, basically, roughly 8-9 millimeters. At the bottom. All right, let's give it a bit of a chop then. Let's have a look into it further. See what it's like. Let's chop it from this side. Well, if I chop it from the top, it'll scrunch down a bit, really. So that's kind of why I think from the side. Okay, there we go. And it does look very nice, actually. Look at that. It does look very good, I must say. Very happy with how that looks. Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, actually. Does it smell of Biscoff? It's got a bit of smell of KitKat Chunky, but there is a slight waft of Biscoff under there as well, which I quite like. I love the distinct layers there as well. I think it looks very beautiful, that. Looks very nice. Apparently these cocoa bits in the middle there are actually KitKat, I don't know if offcuts is the right word, or waste KitKat, basically. I think you basically pulp it down or whatever into the middle of a KitKat. So interesting, which came first, the middle or the or the broken bits, I don't know, but that's what they do nowadays. Quite thick on one side as well, you notice, but I did cut it down this side, so I could have scrunched it a bit, but even so, I don't think it would have been by that much. But yeah, I think that's really good. That's very nice. I don't think the top looks too thick, but obviously, don't know. Probably is about the same as the camera, really, so maybe it's a bit soft on the top. But yeah, let's give it a taste. Quite excited for this one. Let's do it. Proof's in the pudding, as they always say, or as I say. A lot of people do say it, so it is the saying. So let's give it a taste. Let's do it. Okay, everyone, going to give this Lotus Biscoff KitKat Chunky a taste, or KitKat Chunky with Lotus Biscoff a taste. Yeah, it's very exciting, doesn't it? It looks really exciting, yeah. So, big fan of, well, yeah, Lotus Biscoff, a nice biscuit, a nice, you know, it does what it does, doesn't it? It has a nice taste to it. It is a bit of a standard biscuit as such, but it tastes nice and distinctive. Lovely to dunk in a tea or a coffee. Very nice indeed. So, how it will work in KitKat Chunky, we'll have to find out. So, got a bit we opened doing. Now, my friend did have this recently, so I wasn't very impressed. I'm a big fan of Lotus Biscoff, but wasn't too keen on this, so we'll see. But did like Lotus Biscoff ice cream, which I think is very nice indeed. Did a member review of that lovely ice cream. Yeah, let's give this a go. Let's give it a taste. Nice crunch from the wafer. It is basically like having Biscoff spread in the KitKat Chunky. It is there. It is quite nice, actually. It's a bit like having the peanut butter KitKat Chunky, but obviously with Biscoff. It has that consistency almost. It is very creamy. There's no crunch from it at all. It's not like the crunchy Biscoff spread. It is kind of a Biscoff, liquefied Biscoff, basically. It's not massively strong a taste, though. It is there, but it's quite weak. It's kind of the problem with the Biscoff spread when I had it. I reviewed that. I remember reviewing that as well. Kind of a bit, just a bit of a weak taste, really, you know. And that's the problem. It just doesn't really taste quite as strong, quite as Biscoffy as you'd like. Just took the top off there. Yeah, it's definitely Biscoff, but it's just not quite strong enough, really, is the gist of it. You know, the sort of Biscoff cream spread, you know, as I say, the Biscoff spread, basically, you know, it is Biscoff, and it is nice, but it's just not got a strong enough flavour. It doesn't come out as speculoosy as the biscuit does, you know, which is a real shame. But it is a lovely KitKat Chunky, got that lovely crunch. Nice chocolate taste. It is generally pretty good, but I think, yeah, the reason my friend was a bit disappointed, I can imagine, was just because the Biscoff is just not strong enough, really, and that's a real shame. I think you definitely want the Biscoff to come out a bit more. You have the KitKat Chunky peanut butter. The peanut butter is pretty strong. You can definitely tell it's peanut butter, but with this one, it's quite difficult to tell it's Biscoff, really. I mean, you can at a push, you know. I mean, if you want to guess what it is and really looking out for it, you'd say, oh yeah, Biscoff, okay, or speculoos or something, but it's really not as prominent or as strong as you'd want it to be, really. Obviously, the KitKat Chunky itself tastes lovely. KitKat Chunkies are always lovely, really. Just work really well, don't they? You know, they're just a lovely, lovely chocolate bar, really. Got a lovely, you know, set of textures and tastes. And even the chocolate, even though Nestle milk chocolate's not the best, it just, again, works with this product. Just the chunkiness of it, really. But, yeah, I think the Biscoff flavour here is just a bit too weak. And I think that's the summary of the whole thing, really. And because it's not crunchy as well, I mean, it's crunchy with the wafer, but there's no crunchy bits of Biscoff in there, which I think might help if there was little crunchy bits, you know, if it was a bit of a, rather than a Biscoff cream, if it was a, like the Biscoff spread basically, if it was more like the Biscoff crunchy or the Biscoff spread with bits or whatever, you know, it just had bits of the biscuit in there to give you more of the experience of eating an actual Biscoff biscuits. I think that's what it's missing. And even if it just was a slab of Biscoff at the top, actually, that would, I think, be even better if it literally just had, you know, Biscoff along the top rather than the Biscoff cream. If it was literally the biscuit, or a slab of it or something, I think that would actually be even better. And I think that would be, you know, maybe a bit of both, really. I don't know, going crazy with it. We had a bit of the biscuit and a bit of the cream in there. You know, I think that would be great. I think that would be perfect. But I think definitely having the biscuit itself would, I think, be a bit better. It might be a bit hard though. That might be the worry. But you know, don't know. I think don't be that hard, would it? People eat the biscuit. You know, you have to know it was there, I guess. I don't know if there's some kind of thing when you make chocolate bars where you have to be careful that the inside's not too hard because you just go to bite it. But I don't think the biscuit's that hard, is it? You know, but maybe unexpected. I'm not sure. Anyway, but either way, that aside, I think that's definitely what would make it even better. Just having a proper Biscoff in there, then just a layer of the biscuit at the top. I think that'd be great. But even, as I say, even better than that would be having the sort of the spread as well as the biscuit, which I guess you could argue is then basically saying having the spread with the bits in. You know, the Biscoff spread with bits or crunchy spread. So I think that's kind of the problem with it, really. But it's still a nice bar. It's just lacking in Biscoff, I think. It is quite difficult to tell it's Biscoff. You only get a slight taste of it every now and again, and it's quite difficult, actually. You might, I said before, you probably could tell if you really tried hard, but to be honest with you, this then I didn't really get much Biscoff taste at all. So I think that's the problem with it, really. It's still a nice product though, but yeah, it's not the Biscoff bar you're looking for, basically. So to rate it then, it's quite difficult, really, because obviously it still is nice. It's still a KitKat Chunky. It's just got a bit of a cream on the top, which isn't an offensive cream by any means. It's quite subtle and it's quite nice. It doesn't really come across as sickly or as, you know, like one of these sort of Oreo creams you get, which are generally not that great. You know, some chocolate bar products, you know, these cookies and cream style fillings that are just very generic and a bit boring. It's definitely nothing like that. It's actually relatively nice. It's quite thick as well, and it doesn't detract from the KitKat Chunky experience either with the, you know, the wafer things. I mean, that's still crunchy. It's still good. Yeah, so a difficult one. If it was an actual biscuit of Biscoff or the Biscoff spread with crunchy bits in, I think we'd be talking a good 4.5. 4.5, I think, to be honest with you. But as it stands, it's quite disappointing, really. You know, it's still quite nice. It's just not delivering on the Biscoff side of it, so it's quite difficult to rate. I think for me, it's between a 3 and a 3.5, and I feel like I think it's disappointing it doesn't have the Biscoff in it, and I think, you know, that would, but it's still quite nice. So I don't know. It's a difficult one, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just, did you dock it a mark or half a mark or whatever because it doesn't really taste that much of Biscoff, and that's the question. And I don't know. I think regular KitKat Chunky is probably a 4 out of 5, probably. I think it's tempted to dock it a mark because it doesn't taste like Biscoff particularly, and, you know, this, that, and the other. I think a regular KitKat Chunky is between 3.5 and 4. I think this one, because it doesn't taste of Biscoff, you know, and it's meant to really, I feel like I've got to detract it a bit for that. But it's still a nice bar. It's still lovely, but you'll be very disappointed, I think, if you're expecting a Biscoff experience from this, because you don't really get it. And I think for that reason, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. But it's still nice, just not Biscoffy enough. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You know the drill by now, I'm sure. Leave a comment or free. Always great to hear from you. Let me know what you think of this one, if you're really into Biscoff and what your experience is with this, whether you agree with me or not. Click on one of the videos or a few of the videos that appear on the screen now. Great to support my channel by continuing to watch my content. Check out the YouTube member program and the Discord server. Links for those in the description. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching guys. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.